watching this movie. And I love doing it with the audience because it's fun for me. What I'll be doing, same thing I've been doing all across the country, sitting in the back of the theater with a laptop and a Wi-Fi connection. I'll be tweeting the movie. Sometimes I film the movie, put it up on BitTorrent so they can watch it on the internet. I like when people watch the movie. So it's fun. It's been so much fucking fun for me. Every show has been an adventure. Region to region, it's amazing to listen to how people interact with the movie. Some audiences are more bloodthirsty than others. You'll see when the movie begins what I'm talking about. And it's kind of neat. I sit in the back like the architect in the Matrix movie, the third bad one. It's not good luck to make fun of somebody else's movie right before you show yours. I mean, the third, not as good as the first one, Matrix. There's the dude, he's sitting there and the way he talks and shit. I sit in the back and I kind of feel like that guy because I'm like, region to region, it's all kind of different. I'm like, interesting. Their predecessors didn't laugh at that comment. Ergo, their predecessors must be stupid. I tweet about it. It's kind of fun. And I've been doing it every stop. 2 stops back, not the one that happened just last night, which was in Ohio, which was great. 2 stops back, we were in Kansas City, which is literally Phelps country. And that was the one that they said we're going to come out and pick at you. And I was like, thank you. So they came out and picketed, and just like at Sundance, we kind of threw a counter picketer. Didn't even throw it. We just invited people. Hey, the word's out. Any motherfucker can hold up a sign with some shit written on it. Come on out, hold up your ridiculous shit as well. So, the Phelps family is a family, and there was about, I think, 10, 15. I know there was 15 because they asked for tickets. That many tickets was crazy. We offered them a few, and they were like, okay, we'll take a few. And then they called back like, can we get 15? And I was like, certainly. It would just get weirder and weirder. In any event, so they were going to be picketing. They announced they were going to be picketing us. I said, everyone come join us, and they could counter picket and shit like that. But since they were going to be right there at the theater, I thought the only Christian thing to do would be to invite them in to watch the movie. So they accepted and came in to watch the flick. And like I said, there were 15 of them. And when they came to pick up the tickets, they've got some kids with them, like kids, under 10 kids. And the chick at the box office was like, I don't know if the movie's appropriate for children, and I guess, I don't know who picked up whatever Phelps it was like, we'll be the judge of that. Which I was like, wow, that for a minute I was like, who the fuck would bring like somebody under 10 to this movie? I'm like, oh yeah. So at first I wanted to be like, you can't bring kids, but then I was like, well, they know what they're talking about. Like, is it any weirder for a 9-year-old to see this movie than it is to see a sign with like people bent over fucking each other that says like anal penetration equals hell and damnation or something like that? So I was like, all right, I guess they know what they're doing and shit, They came, and it was lovely. I wish they'd come to every screening, because it was just like shooting fish in a barrel, man. Just joke after joke and shit, because I hadn't seen them since Park City in Sundance. When we debuted the movie in Park City, they also protested us and whatnot. And there, too, I was like, everybody come out and let's do a counter-protest. And that one, I actually made up some signs as well. But it was really sweet. That one was so endearing, adorable, because it was up at the high school. That's where they screened the movie at Park City, at the Eccles. And it's attached to a high school. So a bunch of high school kids came out for the protest, and to protest the Phelpses, the anti-protest. So you had 4 Phelpses stand there holding up signs about how God hates this, that, and everything else. And then you had 100 high school kids sitting across from them holding up equally ridiculous signs that were like, God hates homework. It was really fucking sweet, man. Like, that touched me. I was like, God does hate homework, way more than anything else. Everyone hates homework. And they were, the Phelpses like to chant their songs, like God Hates America. They take songs, change one word, and it becomes their anthem. And so they were singing about it, God Hates America. And the kids from the high school started singing over them, chanting back Lady Gaga lyrics. So that's like kryptonite to a Phelps. And so it was really, really sweet, and that did my heart proud. But I came with my own fucking signs, fuck them. And we brought a bunch. I had shit that was like, God hates press screenings. I had another one that said, Thor hates straights. Megan Phelps is the granddaughter. She's always tweeting at me. I'm pretty sure she has a crush on me. So I made a sign that said, God hates Phelps, except Megan. God thinks Megan's hot. But my favorite, and I've talked about it many places, was my friend Malcolm, big gay bear of a fellow, looks like me, eats dick. And I'm way happy to do it. He comes off all macho and she's like, bah, bah, bah. You never fucking know until he's like, bah, let me suck it. But that's not even true. He wouldn't ask you to suck it. He's a taker. So he'd be like, oh, you suck it. And you'd be like, why would I suck it? But you find yourself drawn. He's a bear, a cute bear. Anyway, a big bear friend, he made up a sign, my favorite. It said simply, dick tastes yummy. It's a good life. Anyway, so we go to the protest and we're holding up signs, and I'm asking Megan is holding up my signs for me. Give me another one. I keep swapping them out to hold up signs to the Phelpses and shit. But I couldn't wait for Malcolm to debut his, and he suddenly pulls his out proudly and holds it aloft. And I look, and I'm looking at Shirley Phelps Roper, which is Fred's daughter. She's now the big mouthpiece. You usually see her on TV everywhere. It's Megan's mother as well. And so I was looking for her, and she was standing dead center holding two signs, and she was singing one of their songs. I think it was God Hates America. And I'm looking for her. I want to see if she sees Malcolm's sign. Malcolm's holding the sign proudly, and she looks at the sign. I see her make eye contact as she's singing, and she looks. And her reaction was simply this. So, I was always wondering this shit. I had questions about that reaction. So here they were at the screening in Kansas City. So I was just like, Shirley, I just want to know, did you shake your head because you're like, fucking, I hate fags like Malcolm? Or did you shake your head because you're like, no, it doesn't? Surprisingly, she didn't respond. But it was a lot of fucking fun. So they came and we started the movie and shit. And they didn't even make it 20 minutes in. I got a tap on my shoulder and I looked behind me and it was Megan Phelps. And I was like, hey. And she goes, hi, how are you? They're very sweet, man. They're so kind and shit if you're not gay. They're very nice to you. And she's like, hi, how are you? We wanted to give you gifts before we left. I was like, you guys are going? She goes, yeah, this is filthy. It made me kind of happy. And so they gave me two signs, and one said that I was a fag enabler, and they'd signed it. And the others... Couldn't argue with it. I was like, hey, I've got a gay guy laid once or twice. I guess I have enabled some fags. The other one they gave me was a poster that said simply, Red State Fags, which is the name of the title of the movie, the sequel that we're doing next. Red State Fags. It was weird, and they all signed it. My wife's like, throw that out. I was like, are you kidding me? Everyone's tagged. It was like, there was a Fred Phelps, Megan, Shirley, they all fucking signed it like they were rock stars. It was awesome. And so they were, she was like, okay, bye. And I said, sure you don't want to stay? She's like, no, we can't. I said, bye. And they're leaving, and she was dressed very provocatively for a woman of God. She was had a push-up bra and a miniskirt that just hung like just right above the whole God hates badge. I didn't notice because it was dark and shit. I was looking at her face and shit, and I just wanted to make sure she wasn't like, Kevin, we're leaving and so are you. But it wasn't that at all. When she left, my wife hits me hard and she goes, who is the fucking slut you were talking to? And I was like, that's a woman of God, love. A woman of God. She was like, is that a Phelps? I said, yeah. She was like, and then after the movie, we had some beautiful surprise, man. We're in the Q&A, we were just talking about how they left and shit like that. And 20 minutes into the Q&A, there were two kids at the mic who were just like, hi, we're Phelpses that didn't leave. And everyone embraced because we're like, we didn't know you guys were still here. Sorry about that shit I said, you know. But they were like, no, we're Phelpses that escaped. And we were like, get the fuck on stage! And they joined us, and they were Josh and Libby Phelps. And Josh, I guess, is Shirley's son and Megan's brother. And Libby's, I don't know who Libby's mom is. She told me, I think she said it was Abigail or something. But they left, both of them separate times. I think Libby's been out for 2 years. Josh been out a little longer, maybe 6 or something. They both eventually just kind of pulled themselves out. Like Josh said, he left in the middle of the night. He had to flee, collect everything he owned, and fucking take off. Libby took a car that then they wanted back, and so she had to pay them for it. And then they've since cut ties with them. They don't speak about them unless they're to tweet saying that they're going to hell. So it was really weird. Like on Twitter, like the next day, I was talking about it, like, oh my God, I met Josh and Libby and shit. And, you know, Megan and Shirley started going at me on Twitter, just, you can go to repent and all that shit they say. And I was just like, hey man, I said, Shirley, your son loves you. Stop fighting with him. And she tore in ass about like how Jesus approves for her to cut her son out of her life based on some biblical passage and shit. It was so fucking sad. So sad. That being said, let's watch the movie. Because, Josh and Libby, they're really, really cool. We're going to put up on, if you listen to this podcast I do with my wife called +1 on Spotify. If you listen to that next episode, we're going to put the Q&A with the kids because it was fucking riveting. I got some good jokes in there as well. It was amazing because at one point I was talking to Libby, and Libby is adorable. She's cute and she's like giggly and shit. She's almost like Jeannie from I Dream of Jeannie. You almost expect her to be like... And suddenly we'd all disappear or something like that. But she was so fucking sweet. And I was like, you're like the sweetest little ex-Nazi that ever lived. And she was like, very, very fun. So you'll hear that this week. In the meantime, I just wanted to chit-chat for a little bit, make everyone comfortable, have some laughs, because what's about to happen now, shit's going to go so fucking dark in this room. This movie, Red State, folks, different than most of the other stuff I've done. In fact, different than everything else I've ever done. If you came here looking for some laughs, there are some laughs in the movie, but if you came here looking for Jay and Silent Bob, only Silent Bob's here and he left the coat at home. This movie is not a comedy like Clerks or Mallrats. This is a horror movie like Jersey Girl. So let's kick back, get in deep into Red State. Afterwards, we're going to come out, we're going to have a good old chit-chat. They're going to chase us out at 11 o'clock, so we'll talk as long as you guys want to until then. Meantime, I present you the thing that I'm probably most proud of after my kid and the fact that I've scored a hot wife, Red State.